stocks discussed on Phil's Gang are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering acting on information presented, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice. Get ready for the radio show that tells you what Wall Street doesn't want you to know.
Oh, I'm a money magnet. Money's coming to me. Money sets me free. I'm a money magnet. Money's coming to me.
It's your daily dose of how to manage your money. And now it's time for Phil's Gang on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. With your host, Phil Brandy.
I think what's important to understand is the U.S. Economy and the stock market is a reflection of that.
The U.S. economy, the stock market, is a reflection how well the economy is doing. Boy, I wish that was the truth. Welcome to Phil's Gang, coast to coast around the country, off the Wall Street Radio Network. Wouldn't that be wonderful that the economy was doing as well as the stock market? Or let me put it this way, that the stock market reflected how well the economy was doing. So the market's up 126 points. But our earnings growth, our profit growth, has been negative for 5 quarters. Our stocks are going up 7 times, 8 times higher than our profits. How can that be? Because it's engineered, financially engineered. No, the stock market does not reflect the economy. We don't invest in it. First of all, think about it. How stupid that is. What a stupid statement that is. 68% of a company's revenues, the S&P 500 companies, come from overseas. So what's it supposed to do? Then the stock market reflects Europe too? That is so dumb. You know, the stock market is a wonderful place. I know, everybody says, oh, it's crooked. Well, we don't want it to be straight. You couldn't make money if it wasn't crooked. We got a bunch of cockroaches, and we got a bunch of parasites like we've never seen before on Wall Street. It's unbelievable. But it's still the best place to make money. Where are you going to make money? You got to let your money work for you. I used to say, one thing I wouldn't want to be is a dentist. The one thing I wouldn't want to be is somebody who had to work with their hands to make a living. Because you only got 2 hands. Now, if we had 20 hands, unfortunately, God didn't give us 20 hands. We could make a lot of money. You could produce. Your production would be unbelievable. Your productivity would be perfect. Your standard of living would be high. If you had 20 sets of hands, just think how many, especially if you're a dentist, you could be working on 10 mouths at the same time. Imagine the money you'd make as a dentist. Or you're a painter. But that's not how we were created. We have a pair of hands. So what we have to do is take the money we make and put the money out there in the market. Let that money work for us. But people are scared to death of the market because they remember the dot-com crash. They remember the financial and the housing crash. They're scared to death. They ran from the market, which is silly. Where else are you going to make this kind of money? See, if you go back years ago, before discount brokerage, it was a whole different environment. You'd wait for a company, or you'd start searching for companies that were undervalued. What's that mean? You're looking for companies that had great profits, great company. And then the management went bad. And because of management, the company slid. It went down. But still, the company was a terrific company. You just need to go back in there and fix management. And that's what you do. You go and you invest that into that company because they are going to put new management in. And they reorganize the company. And then 10 years later, you made a fortune on a company. And the brokers used to work hard for you. Your broker, when you had a stockbroker, he was like your doctor. He took care of you because his commissions were big. He was making $400, $300 commission every time he sold you stock. That all blew up. That all changed with discount brokerage. When discount brokerage came in, they said, oh, now instead of paying a commission of $200 or $150, guess what? You can go online And you can have an online broker or a discount broker where your commissions are $5, $10. Wow. Did that hurt the industry? Technology started to kill the industry. You could go in and get a $5 commission. $5 trading fee. So what did all the companies on Wall Street decide to do? They decided, well, we better change. We better go and buy the products first. Let's go buy the stocks first, and then we'll sell it to the clients. That's what they did. So they just went and bought the product first, the stock first, and sold it to you. Well, how could you make any money? That'd be like you going to JCPenney, and there's a $200 suit, and you're going to buy that suit, and you go out in front of the store, and you try to sell that $200 suit for $300. How could you do that? See, it doesn't work. And that's what happened. So what they did is all the Wall Street brokerage firms went out and bought the stock of a company first, and then they pump it up. They create a story for that stock to go up. And when you were their client, they would sell you that stock. They bought it at $5 but sold it to you at $10. They'd buy it at $6, sell it to you at $15. They were making a fortune. And the market kept that. We were in a whole new environment with technology. You could go on your computer, and with a click of a mouse, you could buy a stock and pay a $5 commission. How wonderful. How wonderful. But unfortunately, because of their greed, they decided to give everybody money to go do this. Go buy stocks. Especially when the dot-com started. They lowered interest rates, and they told everybody, hey, come borrow some money from us. You give me $25,000, we'll give you $50,000 to go put in the stock market. You give me $100,000, we'll give you another $100,000. They'd always double it. And people would go out there and they start trading, and they didn't know what they were doing. It just happened to be that it was so crooked, Wall Street, they kept on taking companies and bringing them public. You saw it. They bring them public. They come out at 9:30 in the morning at $5, and they pushed us by noon the stock be at $105. Everybody was borrowing money on margin. Everybody was getting rich. So they thought. The only problem is they didn't know when to get out of the market. The most important thing with investing in the market is know to when to get out. When do you get out? That's the most important thing. When do I get out? You never invest in the stock market unless you have a business plan. Every stock that you buy is like buying your own company. I'm going to buy it here at $5. My exit strategy is here at $10 or $15. And when it hits it, you got to get out. Buying stocks takes great discipline. It's like being a chess player. You got to be patient. Sometimes you don't make a trade for a whole month if things aren't right. That's right. You got to let everything come together. And if you're making a decision, or your broker was telling you buy a stock based on him interpreting market cap, trailing PE, forward PE, price to sales, price to book, profit margin, operating margin, return on assets, return on equity, revenue per share, gross profit, book value per share, operating cash flow, free cash flow. And he's telling you to buy stocks based on that, and you believe him because you're saying that stuff is so complicated, I better hire him. I don't know anything about trailing PE ratios. I don't know anything about values. I don't know anything about operating cash flow or free cash flow. I better have a broker. And they always made it look like make you think you needed a broker, that this was a complicated situation. You were being duped. And I'll tell you why when we get back. Join my gang. 877-600-GANG. We'll be right back. It's 15 past the hour here on Phil's Gang. Join my gang.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG. Phil Grandy is a career businessman who's also been an entrepreneur all his life. has used his business skills to take companies on the abyss of bankruptcy and bringing them back to profitability. Phil has been honored by Inc. magazine for the 500 fastest growing privately held companies and has been recognized with a prestigious Entrepreneur of the Year award. From the real estate to gas and oil industries to the stock market, Phil Grandy has mastered his line of business from start to finish. And with a passion and desire to make you a profitable investor, only Phil teaches you and guides you to make informed, unemotional investment decisions. And you'll gain the knowledge of what Wall Street doesn't want you to know. If you want to learn from the best and strengthen your ability to invest, then turn to Phil Grandy and philsgang.com. Simply call Phil's Gang at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Or go to philsgang.com.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. It's always about fees. That's right. It's always about fees. When you're investing in anything, it's about fees, but especially 401ks. Let me explain to you how you get screwed with a 401k. Nobody will tell you this. You'll be told with a $25,000 investment, your 401k will return 7%, and over 30 years, you'll retire with a nest egg of $226,000 with a fee of 0.5%. That is a lie. Do you know if you just bump it from 0.5% to 1.5%, that $226,000 drops to $160? With 2% fee, it drops to $123. But you know what most fees are? 3%. So you're going to drop almost below $100,000. Join my gang, philsgang.com, and get rid of that 401k. It is not for your benefit.
Isn't it time you reduce your fear of investing? Find out more at philsgang.com, philsgang.com, or call 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. You know, people make it too complicated. Wall Street tells you the market cap and the trailing PE and the forward PE and price to sales to confuse you. All you need to know is, does the stock have volume? What's that mean? Energy. What does that mean? If you have people buying a stock, enough of the stock's being bought, it influences the prices to go up. Join my gang, philsgang.com. We're using charting, philsgang.com.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call. That's 877-600-4264. Phil Grandy is a career businessman who has also been an entrepreneur all his life. He has used his business skills to take companies on the abyss of bankruptcy and bringing them back to profitability. Phil has been honored by Inc. magazine for the 500 fastest growing privately held companies and has been recognized with a prestigious Entrepreneur of the Year award. From the real estate to gas and oil industries to the stock market, Phil Grandy has mastered his line of business from start to finish. And with a passion and desire to make you a profitable investor, only Phil teaches you and guides you to make informed, unemotional investment decisions. And you'll gain the knowledge of what Wall Street doesn't want you to know. If you want to learn from the best and strengthen your ability to invest, then turn to Phil Grandy and philsgang.com. Simply call Phil's Gang at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Or go to philsgang.com.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
The treatment doesn't get any better than what you receive at St. Jude. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. It's always about fees. That's right. It's always about fees. When you're investing in anything, it's about fees, but especially 401ks. Let me explain to you how you get screwed with a 401k. Nobody will tell you this. You'll be told with a $25,000 investment, your 401k will return 7%, and over 30 years, you'll retire with a nest egg of $226,000 with a fee of 0.5%. That is a lie. Do you know if you just bump it from 0.5% to 1.5%, that $226,000 drops to $160? With 2% fee, it drops to $123. But you know what most fees are? 3%. So you're going to drop almost below $100,000. Join my gang, philsgang.com, and get rid of that 401k. It is not for your benefit.
Isn't it time you reduce your fear of investing? Find out more at philsgang.com, philsgang.com, or call 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264. Welcome back. Looking for insights and investing information? Join Phil Grandy and become a Phil's Gang member today. For more information, go to philsgang.com.
And welcome back to Phil's Gang, the best teaching format in the country. I believe it is. We give the best service in the country. Every day, before 9:30 in the morning, I do coffee talk. I give you an update on what's going on for the day, what you can expect for the day. Not the hot stock. There's no such thing as a hot stock. I'll tell you what's going on in the market that's going to affect the stocks. Tell you what group of stocks we should be looking at. I give you great information at Coffee Talk. Best place to get a coffee is at Phil's Gang every morning. And then the market opens at 9:30. And you can see us invest in stocks live. And my gang members, they email me questions about their stock. I'll put it up, and I'll say to them, okay, here's what's going on with your stock. It's going into resistance. You should take some off. Or no, why are you buying the stock? The pattern's a sell pattern, not a buy pattern. We do that from 9:30 to 11 o'clock. Then we do updates. All during the day. I have what I call my 1:15. Then I have, right before I go on the radio show, around 2:45 update. And then again, when the market closes, I do a market wrap. All this is archived. And then during the day, if I see something special going on in a stock, I identify it for my gang. I send out an alert. There is no company, there is no teaching format like ours. For $39.95 a month, are you nuts? Go check it out. They all want $300 a month, $500 a month, all nonsense. See, stocks are so easy if you understand what the stock market is, but 99.9% of the people don't get what the stock market is. They really think that you got to go find this hot stock. It's the next hot stock. It's ridiculous. You know how many stocks there are? How many companies there are? It's ridiculous. Think about it. You got companies that are cyclical companies. You got companies that are non-cyclical. You got semiconductors. Juniper, Adobe, Xilinx, banks, J.P. Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs. How about consumer discretionary stocks? Darden Restaurants, McDonald's, Starbucks. How about utilities? It goes on and on. Autos, toys, transportation, railroads, NSC, CNI, UNP, CXX. You can't possibly think that there's some guy on Wall Street that really knows what is the best stock for you. Are you nuts? You're getting scammed. S&P 500 stocks, Dow 30 stocks. You know how many stocks there are altogether? You go on, there's like 12,000 stocks you could choose from. You really think somebody sitting on Wall Street or your planner or your broker, your advisor, really can go in and pick out which is the best stock for you to buy, which one's going to be the money maker? See, and you think they can. You think they can, and that's what you get screwed up on. You really think you can. They do this. You're always looking for that hot guy, that broker. You go golf with him. He's your friend. He's your buddy. You always think of, oh, he knows what he's doing. He's really smart. Those guys that come on TV, they're all frauds. They don't know what that stock's going to do. They tell you wonderful stories. Well, we're buying that stock because they just merged, and they're going to merge with another company in Hong Kong. And what they're going to do is take their new technology, and nobody has technology like this, and they're going to make wheelbarrows that are wider and stronger and better, and those wheelbarrows they got contracts out in Hong Kong, and they're selling those wheelbarrows in Europe. It doesn't matter. Nobody can tell you where a stock is going to go based on fundamentals, based on margins, based on their PE ratio. The best we could do was years ago, as I said, when a company was a great company and then it fell apart. The broker you worked with was making $200, $400 commissions every time he sold you stock. But he was like your doctor. He'd identify undervalued companies. Then he'd put you in that company. And he'd watch that company. And he'd watch management. And over a 10, 15-year period, that company would start coming back. And your investment, you'd be in these stocks for 10, 15, 20 years sometimes. IBM, all the companies have been around for years. And he would watch for you, and you could trust him because he was making a lot of money. That all blew up when it came to discount brokerage, which was blown up by the new technology that you could put it on a screen, like a TV screen, and you had more information on that stock than the broker. All the broker in the office has is a screen. He doesn't have information on the screen that's going to make you money. He's got on the screen a cold call list. He's got on the screen porno. He's got on the screen his golf dates. There is nothing he looks at that tells you, hey, this is a good stock, you better buy it, as his client. He is told in the morning what to give you for a stock. He is told, and all the brokers are said, I'll give everybody tickets to the World Series who can sell this piece of crap called Merck. They take the worst stocks, because remember what companies do now. They buy the companies they buy the stock first, and then they come in and they pump it up with stories to sell it to you. So they buy a stock at $10, they pump it up and sell it to you at $20. Now you're supposed to go sell it to the next guy. Remember what the stock market is. It's very simple. You buy your stock and you find some sucker to sell it to. That's as simple as the stock market has been. It's not more difficult than that. The idea is you buy the stock, and then you find some sucker to buy it from you at a higher price. But where you become the sucker in this game is when the brokerage houses started to buying their own stocks. Then it got worse. They would go take a company that wanted to go public, and they'd bring the company public, and they would own shares of that company. And that's when it got real dangerous. We'll talk about that when we get back. Join my gang right now. 877-600-GANG, the best teaching format in the country.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
Do you invest in a 401k or an IRA? Did you know you could lose 30, 40, even 50% of your investments when the market crashes? It's time you take control of your investments. For over 15 years, philsgang.com's Phil Grandy has been teaching, coaching, and investing right along with all Phil's Gang members, making profits when the market is up or down. philsgang.com posts daily market updates, has a live investing class, and all material is archived. Sounds too good to be true? Why not join thousands of satisfied Phil's Gang customers today? Go to philsgang.com, philsgang.com, or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. 877-600-4264.
For more information, simply go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264.
philsgang.com.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. You hear me talk about 401ks every day on my radio show. Why? Because it's such a disservice. 89 million Americans have a 401k. There's 638,000 plans. And the father of the 401k, Ted Brenner, even admitted they're a scam. He doesn't endorse them anymore because of the ridiculous fees. You got to get away from those fees. Remember, every 1% fee, they take 30% of your retirement money. The average fund is 2.5%. 60% of the money is going to be gone when you're ready to retire. You don't need to do that. There's an alternative. Join my gang, philsgang.com. philsgang.com. Seek out the alternative. Give yourself a break. philsgang.com. Sign up today.
Find out more at philsgang.com, philsgang.com, or call 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264. Phil Grandy is a career businessman who's also been an entrepreneur all his life. He's used his business skills to take companies on the abyss of bankruptcy and bringing them back to profitability. Phil has been honored by Inc. magazine for the 500 fastest growing privately held companies and has been recognized with the prestigious Entrepreneur of the Year award. From the real estate to gas and oil industries to the stock market, Phil Grandy has mastered his line of business from start to finish. And with a passion and desire to make you a profitable investor, only Phil teaches you and guides you to make informed, unemotional investment decisions. And you'll gain the knowledge of what Wall Street doesn't want you to know. If you want to learn from the best and strengthen your ability to invest, then turn to Phil Grandy and philsgang.com. Simply call Phil's Gang at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Or go to philsgang.com. Are you ready to get serious about your financial future? You know, reduce your debt, pay off those student loans, and prepare for retirement. Taking control of your finances can be intimidating, but with philsgang.com, you will be educated and guided to make smart investment decisions in the stock market. If the market is up or down, philsgang.com is the only source where you'll learn how to trade stocks and how to invest in the stock market using professional-level skills and strategies. For more information, go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
El que San Jude no cobra ni un centavo para nosotros significa quitarnos todo ese estrés, esa preocupación y podernos enfocar en nuestra hija.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When St. Jude told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. They pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. You know, there's nothing worse than you're investing in a stock and during the day something happens and you don't know what to do. You don't know who to call. Or you call somebody and they just give you a bunch of BS. Not here at Phil's Gang. We value every gang member. During the day, you got a question about your stock, you contact us. We have the best service in the world. philsgang.com. You're not alone. You're a gang member.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call. That's 877-600-4264. You're listening to the Phil's Gang Show with Phil Grandy. Be sure to check out the all-new Phil's Gang website at philsgang.com.
And welcome back to Phil's Gang. We're talking about the stock market. It's the best place in the world to make money, and you shouldn't be fearful. No, you shouldn't be fearful of the market. Because of the dot-com crash and the financial housing crash, people are fearful. And most people got out of the market in 2008, and they missed the whole rally, the whole fake rally of 126% because they were fearful. And with today's technology, you don't have to be. We are the best teaching format in the country. Let me give you the number, 877-600-GANG, 877-600-GANG, and please call, because we're offering with our membership $39.95, our high-tech MV2 color-coded chart that the colors tell you when to get in and when to get out. When it's red, it tells you to get out. When it's green, it tells you to get in. But the better thing about the red, not only does it tell you to get out, but you have the opportunity when the stock drops, and the stock drops 10 times faster than it goes up. And I'll explain that a little bit later on. So, but the key is your fear will be gone. Because now when you buy a stock, you always know when to get out. And even if you have a mutual fund, you can use it. Because all you have to do is follow the S&P, the spiders, or you can follow the Dow 30. And when those turn red, that means your mutual fund's in trouble. It's going to start collapsing. That's right. So it's even a protection. You can think of it for $24.95 a month. You're protecting your portfolio, even your mutual fund. You'll know when to get out. But the market is based on looking forward. Here's what happens. When they tell you, when a stock, the earnings come out, and they say that they missed the street by 1 penny, and I used to say, where'd that penny go? Who got the penny? Well, that 1 penny, remember, equals, for every penny they missed, equals an 8% loss. 8%. You extrapolate that means the stock should drop 20%. That's right. But you notice how stocks never come down 20% when they beat the street or they miss the street by a penny? They never come down. Why? Because the trick is in this game, this rigged gang, is to try to convince you stocks are forward-looking. And that's why every earnings, when you have our earnings every quarter, they come out with the earnings. They start the first every 90 days. And when they start, Alcoa is the first one. And the key for them is to convince you, don't worry about the number. If they missed the street by a penny, don't worry. Because you know what? Going forward, boy, are we going to have great earnings. They estimate earnings going forward. They always estimate, we're going to be up 2 cents, 3 cents going forward. And they always suck people in on the idea of going forward is going to be better. Don't ever look back. So that's why the market never goes down 20%. And that's why stocks keep getting overvalued. They create these big bubbles. Because they should correct each time these earnings miss. The stock should correct. But they prevent it from correcting by convincing you, don't worry about that. Look out in the future. This company's doing great. That's called speculation. Nobody's ever made money speculating. You want to lose money? Speculate. Speculate on anything, you'll lose money. You want to make sure it's the sure thing. With today's technology, you can make sure of that. But it's hard because to get this across to people. Because they really believe these guys on Wall Street know something. They don't know anything about that stock. Listen to this.
Why Curry and Plank, the CEO of Under Armour, are thinking so hard. The rising popularity of basketball as a sport and sneakers. For this tour, for instance, they launched new design, a new style of the Curry 2.5 basketball shoes to reflect and inspired by an old popular Chinese folklore.
So think about this. They're telling you to buy this stock. It's going to be terrific in the future. It's going to keep going up because it's a new style stock. And basketball is becoming, she wants you to buy this because she's going to convince you in the future this new style sneaker is going to do terrific. Because basketball is getting more popular. And that this is there's an old adage. They have an old adage, a Chinese proverb tied to the stock. So they want you to buy this stock based on a Chinese proverb that it's a new style and basketball is becoming popular. And people will buy that because they've convinced the people who are group thinkers and they all follow each other that this sneaker is going to be terrific in the future. That's not why you buy stocks. They keep on creating this illusion that they know something that you don't know. And you always ran to your broker. You wanted to be his best buddy. And then he didn't make money for you, you went to another one. He didn't make money, you went to another one. Then your cousin told you about the guy he had. And then as soon as he lost money for you, you went to another one. You can take control yourself. You don't need to know anything about the sneaker. You don't need to know anything about its earnings. You don't have to sit there and get the 10K and read through it. Because it's all hogwash. It's all BS. It's been set up to be BS. It wasn't. Before the discount brokerage, it wasn't. Your broker got paid $200. You paid him $200 in commissions to buy your stock. You paid him $400 to buy your stock for you because he went and did all that research for you. But when they went discount and he no longer was getting $200, you think he's going to do all that research for you for $5? The discount, of course not. And when technology came in It got worse because now they could take companies public. They could take a company, Wall Street, and say, we're going to take your company and run it from $5 up to $20. The great dot-com scheme. And everybody, again, couldn't wait to get in. Couldn't wait to get in. Stocks come out in the morning, $5, and then by noon it was $125 or $85. Ridiculous. And how many people got hurt? Buying a stock is very simple. All you got to know about buying a stock, the reason a stock goes up, because the investors, the big investors, buy it. They're called institutions. That's Vanguard, T. Rowe Price, Bank of New York, J.P. Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Northern Trust, Dodge & Cox. These are the people who go in and buy the stock. When they don't buy stock, it doesn't go up. You can have all the retail customers in the world come in and buy stocks. They can't budget up. All these guys work together and they all buy the same company. You go and look at Starbucks, look at Walmart. You'll have the same group. Vanguard, T. Rowe Price, J.P. Morgan, Bank of America, Northern Trust. They own most of Starbucks. They own most of Walmart. They own most of Home Depot. They all work together to suck you in. They always get out before anybody else because they have the inside information. Oh, don't tell me there's rules and laws. They can't do that. What are you, nuts? How do you think they get out of a stock before it goes down? When those earnings come out, they've already got out because they got the information a month earlier. And you get left holding the bag. And the other thing, they have convinced the group thinkers, do not short stocks, they tell you. Oh, it's dangerous. Do not short stocks. When stocks go down, don't short them. That's too dangerous. You're going to lose all your money. That is a bold-faced lie. That's how you make money. A stock goes down 10 times faster than it goes up. That's right. Why? Because on the way down, once they get the institute, once J.P. Morgan gets the pension fund out, let's say the teacher's pension fund out, they don't support that stock anymore. I'll explain more when I get back. Join my gang, Phil's gang.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. You know, most people get involved with a 401k because of the employer match. They really believe that there's free money. There's no free money. It's a scam. Here's how it works. You ever notice that you can't get the money all at once? Why not? Why don't they just give you the match all at once? Why over 6 years? Because they know only 12% of the people who work for a company stay for 6 years or more. Only 12% are there for 6 years. That's why they plugged it to 6 years. They know you're not going to stay. So it's not for your benefit. It's for the benefit of the company. It's a scam. There's an alternative, though. Phil's Gang. Join my gang. philsgang.com. philsgang.com.
Find out more at philsgang.com, philsgang.com, or call 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. We're a teaching format, and boy, do we give good service. You know, buying a stock doesn't have to be complicated. The reason why Wall Street makes it complicated is so to make you think you need to hire them. You can do better without them, believe me, because you're not going to have those big fees. Come to Phil's Gang, where we'll show you an easy way to buy a stock. philsgang.com, where we don't make it complicated, but profitable.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call. That's 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. It's always about fees. That's right. It's always about fees. When you're investing in anything, it's about fees, but especially 401ks. Let me explain to you how you get screwed with a 401k. Nobody will tell you this. You'll be told with a $25,000 investment, your 401k will return 7%, and over 30 years, you'll retire with a nest egg of $226,000 with a fee of 0.5%. That is a lie. Do you know if you just bump it from 0.5% to 1.5%, that $226,000 drops to $160? With 2% fee, it drops to $123. But you know what most people equities are? 3%. So you're going to drop almost below $100,000. Join my gang, philsgang.com, and get rid of that 401k. It is not for your benefit.
Isn't it time you reduce your fear of investing? Find out more at philsgang.com, philsgang.com, or call 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
The treatment doesn't get any better than what you receive at St. Jude. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. You know, most people get involved with a 401k because of the employer match. They really believe that there's free money. There's no free money. It's a scam. Here's how it works. You ever notice that you can't get the money all at once? Why not? Why don't they just give you the match all at once? Why over 6 years? Because they know only 12% of the people who work for a company stay for 6 years or more. Only 12% are there for 6 years. That's why they plugged it to 6 years. They know you're not going to stay. So it's not for your benefit. It's for the benefit of the company. It's a scam. There's an alternative, though. Phil's Gang. Join my gang. philsgang.com. philsgang.com.
Find out more at philsgang.com, philsgang.com, or call 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264. Welcome back to the Phil's Gang Show. This segment is brought to you by the Max Investor 1000 Stock Charts. For more information, go to philsgang.com.
Our responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
What's a financial advisor?
That is a term that means almost nothing. It is somebody who might be a financial planner, or it could be a broker who is really a salesperson.
That's right. They're all salespeople. Their job is salespeople. Once discount brokers came in, once technology came in, when stocks go up and they try to tell you a story why to buy it, just like you heard about the sneakers. They want you to buy the sneakers. They say it's a new design, and there's a Chinese proverb that's going to make them go up. And there's one other stupid thing. That's not why stocks go up. Stocks don't go up because of what the company does. Stocks go up because of the institutions buying that stock. Like I told you, Vanguard, BlackRock, T. Rowe Price, they all work together. J.P. Morgan, Goldman Sachs, they all embed together. They will target a stock. Now, it used to be they bring out a company, public, and they bring and all five companies, five institutions, Dodge and Cox, Northern Trust, BlackRock, T. Rowe Price, Bank of New York Mellon will say. They'll go in and they'll fund that company. They'll push that stock up. They support it. They push it up, push it up, push it up. Not based on profits. They push it up. And then when they're ready to get out, they paint the tape. They start creating stories so that they bring in the sucker. They bring in the sucker who goes to their so-called advisors, to these guys.
Our responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
Yeah, the guy, he doesn't care about you unless you got $1 million. So your problem is he's going to get you in that stock, and you think it's based on because this sneaker is special. There's nothing special about it. The stock goes up because the institutions push their money in. And when they're ready to get out, when do they get out? They know in advance that if the earnings that are coming up, the profits are going to be down. They really start pumping the stock now. They start creating stories. They have a department that does nothing but create stories. And every day comes on the wire, a new story. Then they pay people to go on CNBC and talk about this company and why they should buy it and how hot it is to push it up. They then go and they pay off people who are Wall Street Journal or any of the financial rags and magazines in this. And there's a guy that everybody follows. And the company, okay, this company, MPC, let's say JP Morgan owns a lot of that company. Remember, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, all these guys, T. Rowe Price, all these guys, BlackRock, they own most of the company. They're always going to win. So when their profits are down, okay, they're going to take care of their customer. Not you, not mom and pa, but the big pensions. The guys who work for GE or work for Ford or work... See, these guys, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, all the boys, they go out and they're called institutions. Okay, and they're institution investors. And these guys go out and they will wine and dine the manager of the, let's say, the steel union. JP Morgan wants that business. He's going to take care of the steel union. And he's going to invest the pension money of that steel union into the market. And they make a fortune doing that. But they also become their investment banker. They do mergers for them and acquisitions for them. They have a relationship. So they're going to make sure these guys never get hurt. So if they have if they're investing their money for the pension fund for the steel workers and it's in GE, they're going to make sure that they don't get hurt. If the pension fund, the steel workers, have 1 million shares in GE, and they know next quarter, JP Morgan, let's say that is their client. The pension fund is their client. They're going to make sure this pension fund is not going to get hurt. They know GE is going to have a bad quarter. So they're going to go in a month in advance and start unloading the stock quietly. And then they paint the tape and bring people on Fox and bring people on CNBC to pump GE. What a terrific company. Well, that's what they do. They send their people out, their PR people, or they'll pay this writer in Wall Street Journal everybody follows, and they'll give them $100,000 and tell them, write a wonderful article about GE. Or they'll go to one of these guys who do financial letters and pay him. If they know that this one financial letter everybody follows, they'll pay him $10,000 to write something glowing about GE. They got to make sure that stock stays up while they get the pension fund, the steelworker pension fund people out. And then once they're out, that's called the bid. Once they're out, there's no reason for JP Morgan to hold that stock up. See, JP Morgan will hold that stock up, put their own money in, to get their people out, even though they know the stock's going to come down. They'll hold it up. They'll just hold it until they get their people out. And as they say, well, at the same time they're doing that, they're out on the TV and all the newspapers telling you to buy GM. Once their people are out, and the earnings come out, and they miss their numbers, they pull their money out. And the stock goes down 10 times faster than it goes up because there's no more support. There's no more support of that stock. The key is to know when you're getting out. That's the key. But they never get you out. Why? Especially if you're in 401ks, they don't get you out. If you're in a mutual fund, they don't get you out because they don't make money getting you out. They don't make money. Remember, these money managers, your brokers and so forth, they get paid not by how much money they make you or the returns they get for you. They get paid by how much money is in that fund. How much money is in that fund? So they send out brokers everywhere, okay, to try to drag people in so that everybody puts their money in this fund. That's the job, these mutual funds. So let's say it's the tech fund, Ajax Tech Fund. They don't want you to get up because if the fund goes from $1 million to $2 million to $10 million to $20 million, the managers, the brokers, they get paid on how much money is in the fund. They get 30, 40% of the money that's in the fund. They don't get paid on how well you're doing, with the money they make for you. That's where this whole thing should be changed. Nobody should be paid, no broker, no planner, no institution should be paid, only if you make money first. But that'll never happen. So, now that you understand that stocks, they only go up, not because of what the company does, or because of its profits. It goes up because the institutions, the J.P. Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and the rest of them are going to buy the stock. And they push the stock up. And they make a fortune for themselves and their customers. And they keep pushing it up until the company runs into trouble. And they make sure they get their customers out before anybody knows that by getting you in. By getting you in. So you got to know when to get out. And that's why we teach our Phil's gang, our gang members, how to spot when to get out. And it's not hard. And you got to obviously figure out when to get in. You don't marry a stock. There's no more, I'm going to hold the stock for 10 years or 5 years. That's a joke. Do you know that all these institutions, J.P. Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Vanguard, all these institutions, they're in stocks a couple of days, 3 days, 10 days. That's all. They're trading. Don't ever believe that they got your money in there for a long period of time. That's all BS. But the stock market, think about it. Once you grasp this and understand how they do it, the money you can make. I'm not saying, look, anybody tells you you're going to make easy money. I still love these commercials. You see it on TV. You ever see these commercials? Come Wednesday down to Hyatt and learn how to trade. And they show a guy on a boat. He's got 20 women around him. And he gets off his big yacht and he goes to his Rolls Royce and he drives up to his $1 million house. Yes, this is what I've done trading stocks. No, why don't you tell the truth? That's the guy, your broker, was to convince you to buy stocks. No. There's never such thing as easy money, my friends. There's no such thing as easy money. There's nothing easy. We'll talk about that when we get out. Join my gang, 877-600-GANG. Get your free MV2 chart, $24.95. You get it free when you join the gang.
You have been listening to Phil's Gang with your host, Phil Grandy, on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Remember to visit Phil's website at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or call the office, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.